All right, man, we are back, dude. I think it's like episode 12 now.
12. Oh my goodness.
I know, can you believe that?
Well, I tell you, it's something fun though, right? Talking about what we do, talking about the people that we serve, talking about the teammates. So it's the community. It's been really interesting, man. It's kind of interesting sometimes when you step back from the business and look at the business instead of looking inside the business. It's kind of a cool thing to look at.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of talk today about a couple things. One is our VIP membership. That's kind of the root of what we're about here, or what we want to talk about today. But I think in general, we're talking about how to make people feel valued, and that comes across in many different forms. That it can be for your team, that can be for our customers, for just everyday life, and what type of differences that makes for people.
Yeah, it's I think in the workplace, that's kind of, if you look at the United States as a whole, and if you do any reading into the business world, employee retention, things like that, everybody's always looking at what makes a good workplace, what sets a workplace apart, and it's funny because the number one thing that you would think that employees would go to is the money, right? But really, studies will show you that money's usually fourth or fifth on the list when you look at it in its entirety, right? You think, really, fourth or you think it's number one. You just bank on it being number one, but it's really not, right? People, I think there's a time in everybody's career when money is probably one of the biggest drivers. Sure. I think, when you're trying to get your feet off the ground, when you're, just getting out of the house and young in your career, definitely money's one of those factors that make people feel, like they've made it somewhere. I think, but that quickly goes away, and then you find out that the money can be there in different ways and in different forms and in different places. Now it really comes about, where do I feel like I'm welcomed? Where do I feel like I'm valued? Where do I feel like I have a place to have input? I think the older you get into it, you really want a place that kind of mirrors along with your value statement, right? Whatever you hold true as your values, you want a place that you work at that's going to mirror those, right? Because it would be difficult to go to a place all day that just is completely opposed to what you value in your personal life. And so, here we definitely see a lot of that where, we definitely, through our interviewing process, through our hiring process, through our daily training, we're always looking to grow people. We're looking for that growth mindset, right? And so when we're looking for an employee to become a part of the team or something along that line, we always are looking for somebody who wants that growth mindset. We've talked about GREAT, the acronym that we use all the time. It stands for, the G stands for growth, the R for respect, the E for excellence, the A for accountability, and the T for thankfulness.
Still got it, dude.
Got it, baby. But the funny thing about it is when you're looking at that, that growth statement, that's not for everybody. And that's a weird thing. If you're of a mindset to grow, to think of somebody out there as not wanting to grow, that they're okay with, stalling out in their career or kind of being okay where they're at in their life. I guess that, everybody's got their own path, right? But as a company, man, that could be the death of a company if a company's not looking to grow their people, their customer base.
Yeah, you can't get stagnant, dude. That's the recipe for a disaster.
It is the absolute disaster. So,
speaking of something that was cool last week that happened, I was out with John Garcia. He was doing a repipe. They had a bunch of rotted out pipes at a place out in Fontana. Redrain. So we were doing that, and I was putting together a bunch of video, and it was, just him and a couple of the apprentices were in the back there and working, and we got done filming. He's like, dude, he goes, hey, do you mind, if I talk and I'm going to introduce these guys? And he said, because none of this happens without them, man. Talk about making you feel valued. Thought that was cool. He always seems to get it and go take that extra step to talk about, what all is in it. It's not just about him. I thought that was a really cool thing. Part of our GREAT program, it goes with those values too,
he's thankful for who he has to help him out there. Right? We got to look at that. I was just actually, right before we came into this meeting, we're so busy right now that all of my apprentices and helpers are busy tomorrow. So nice. I'm actually pulling a guy from the warehouse because the job that we need some help on tomorrow is more of just a lifting capacity, right? It's not technical. So I'm actually having one of the warehouse guys go and help a technician.
Are you really?
What a cool environment, for that guy. To get out there and see a different part of our work environment. But
that is cool.
And I'm sure that technician will be thankful for that. Knowing Sergio, the gentleman that needs somebody. And that's a big part of it, man, is being part of that family.
Yeah.
Making sure that the techs are heard, right? I mean, at the end of the day, nothing in this building happens without the guys in the field, whether it's on our new construction side, out on those new construction job sites, or whether it's those plumbers and HVAC technicians driving around in the big red truck every day, right?
Yeah.
If it's not for them, none of this happens.
Yeah, well, it's cool to see. You could tell the appreciation on those guys' face, because all of a sudden, as soon as that door got opened up, they were like ready to go. Like, hey, what do you want us to do, man? Let's get in here. And he was talking about, hey, none of this happens without these guys. I just want to give them a shout out, and that kind of stuff's really cool.
Well, how many times do we? I mean, and when I say we, I'm including myself on this. How many times do we feel like we're just not being recognized?
Yeah.
I mean, that's listen, human nature, we all have a little bit of selfishness.
Sure.
We all want to be recognized. We want the lights to be on us. I know that's something I've struggled with my whole life is, wanting to have the lights on me. And, and as I've gotten older, the need for that's gone away.
It takes such a small effort to do it, too. But it makes a huge difference to people.
But how easy is it to just let your employees, let your customers? I mean, obviously, we're very thankful for our customers.
Yeah.
Right? We try to even take accountability in that we have to make our customers feel special. But, that's why we do training so much. I mean, at the end of the day, that's why we work on that. Because, unfortunately, in 2025, customer service is a lost art.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, people just dealing with another human being, it's less than it's ever been in our life, right? Because we're dealing with computers, we're dealing with somebody, but we're dealing with them either through a phone or via the internet or some other form other than face-to-face communication. So the art of face-to-face communication is absolutely something that's a lost art. And it's funny. I was talking to my daughter the other day, and we were talking about cursive writing. Something that I thought would be around forever. I think it's beautiful to look at. I love somebody who has beautiful cursive writing. But again, it's one of those things that's kind of out with the old, right? They don't even really teach that in school. My daughter's actually getting to take a class, but only because she's so far advanced past where her peers are. Her peers are still working on regular writing things, and my daughter gets to go with like 4 other kids to this advanced class.
It's bizarre. You never thought that'd be gone. Mine's the same way. Our kids don't get taught that.
But it's
bizarre.
It's a weird thing. Unfortunately, time goes by, things change, communication methods change. That's a written communication method, but it's still a communication method.
Yeah, for sure.
And unfortunately, one of the things that we talk about all the time with like trade schools and things like that is that these kids can learn the technical. But the hard part is learning how to communicate.
Yeah, sure.
And communication.
Especially where it's going. It's not getting any better, dude. We talked about my son, how he communicates with ChatGPT. It blows my mind, dude.
Well, and that's the
it's wild.
That's the world they live in.
Yeah.
Now, 25 years from now, somebody sitting in this seat in 2050, they'll look at us old boomers and they'll be like, we probably won't even be around. But anyways, they'll be sitting there going, oh my God. They actually talked to people.
Yeah, they used to write things down. Isn't that weird?
They actually looked people in the face, right? I mean, who knows? I mean, it's amazing. But, I think that the majority of our customer base out there, Redlands is a little bit older from the age of the city. Our demographics are a little bit older here in Redlands. And the value of that face-to-face communication is still desired. I know for me, I can't stand talking to a computer when I'm on one of those things. Push 3 to talk to. Oh my God! I know. Please.
Yeah, you want to talk to somebody else.
Yeah.
The longer it goes, the more that is too. There's 15 different buttons you got to get through before you can get to somebody.
I was trying to get through my insurance company the other day. I'm just like most of us here in Southern California. I got canceled for my insurance because of all the fire stuff. So I was trying to call my insurance company, trying to get somebody live on the phone. It was literally almost 20 minutes before I could get to a live person.
Ridiculous.
And I'm sitting there thinking, I don't have time for this.
Sometimes I wonder if they make you wait on purpose because they want you to just go to the automated where you're done with it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, dude. Yeah,
or
I'm over this.
Their new thing that they do, which I guess is smart, and I guess it's probably what I should have taken advantage of. You just don't assume that it's going to take that long. And you should never assume anything, but I do. But they do that thing now where they say, if you would like a return call, please.
Yeah.
You are number 82 in the queue.
Yeah.
Okay. The problem with that is we all have work days. We're all in the middle of other things.
That's always my problem with that.
These 10 minutes that I was hoping to get this task accomplished. But
what if you do it? They call right when it's right the moment you go into something else, like a meeting or whatever you got to do.
The restroom and there's
that's exactly when it happens. Like they time it like that. That's why that for our team listening to this thing too, because I know you guys are listening. So the great submissions, we need to. That's a big part of what our push is this year, right?
Yeah.
We want to see that stuff this coming week. We have a new wall graphics going into the break room there that has now where you say top tech of the month is going to be moments of greatness.
Right.
Those are going to be something they're going to be picked at these breakfasts we do, and so I want to encourage all these guys and all you guys listening to submit those things to us.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, that's an easy one. That's an internal thing that. Again, going back to being seen and heard and valued, there's a lot of words that we could put there, but knowing those and we want to take those moments and those opportunities to say, hey, look, this is somebody who's living out what Redlands has said is our motto. Somebody that's living out those moments of growth, right? Whether it's going to school, we got tons of guys going to school.
How many do we have going to school right now?
I believe as a company, we have 14 right now. 12 to 14 guys going to school, right? That's a big thing. I know right now there's a lot of stress among that group. They're having one of the big tests of the year right now. So I know there's a lot of stress going on. Whether it's somebody, maybe doing outside something of work. Maybe it's taking a college courses or something like that. We want to recognize those moments because we all know as adults I got 4 kids, I got my wife, I got my work life. Man, I'm about to start some theology classes through I haven't decided whether I'm going to do the university or through my church, but I mean that's going to take extra time. That there's not much time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's only so many giving moments in the day, right?
Yep.
How can we, and I was looking at this, and these classes will be on, I think it's Wednesday and Saturday. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Wow.
So I mean, but it is what it is, right? I mean, that's something that we should recognize when somebody's stepping outside of their given task and trying to better themselves, no matter what it is. If they're trying to better themselves, we only have like maybe 1 or 2 left in the whole company, but we got a few smokers. I mean, if I saw that somebody was, trying to work off that and man, that would be
rare these days, isn't that?
Smoking used to be so common.
You go into a restaurant and be smoking inside there. I don't see people. My wife and I had that discussion. It's funny because you don't see people just milling around smoking anymore.
No.
I mean, whoever did the campaigns to get rid of that they're killing it.
Well, I mean, hell, I was a smoker for 20 years.
Yeah.
Military and smoked for 20 years. And for me, it was one of those habits that I just couldn't kick until my reason was big enough. I quit when my oldest daughter, when my ex-wife was pregnant with my oldest daughter. I didn't want to be a smoker. I didn't want to smoke around my kids.
Yeah.
I thought, I wanted to be a better example than that. So that was what finally kicked me into the real habit of quitting. But yeah, getting back to the great, I mean, we definitely want to celebrate that with our guys. It's definitely something I know you utilize in the social media world, right? We're proud of our team. We're proud of the group of guys that we have. We take a lot of effort on getting the right people onto the team that are going to serve our customers correctly, whether it's our new commercial contractors that we work with or it's our residential customers that we serve on the service side. Getting the right guys and then making sure that we reward them properly, that we recognize them properly. That's an ongoing thing, right? That's something that even us as managers can kind of fall victim to, is that maybe we get so caught up into the day-to-day world that we're forgetting that we need to make sure that we're, valuing each and every employee.
Yeah. That has to start at the top, those things. Even to push those kinds of programs, too, you have to start there, and it has to be examples that are seen.
Yeah, and it's hard. You get so many things that take your time.
Yeah.
Right? And, we know that, the majority of our time is spent on the minority of our problems, right? Because, that's just management, right?
Yeah.
You got a few things that are always going to dominate kind of your day, but we got to always remember to take that time to serve those who serve us.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
And that's a I mean, the church I go to, that's the whole reason I go there, is because they serve those who serve them.
Mm-hmm.
And I really love that. I think it's a great mentality. I think it's a great way to really feed back into the community that you're with. I mean, we should be serving one another. And when you find a place that really lives that out, I mean, you can feel it. You can see the difference. You can feel the difference. It's tangible. And there's something to it. And so I think that's definitely what we're looking for here inside the company.
Let's talk about that for a second. So this morning, and happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Today is Monday.
Yeah.
So, we don't want to forget that. But let's talk about that for a second. So this morning in the meeting, we talked about first-time experiences at that church. And so we'll kind of full circle this back into feeling very important.
Right.
But the funny thing that stood out to me is we talked about this whole experience about this is a great church. I heard, we heard you had said, I think one of the other guys said, that pastor's great, man. He really gets after it. That was a small part of the conversation. But what dominated the conversation was Noah's experience, and you talked about it too, from when he pulled into the parking lot to when he got inside. And I thought that was interesting because what that did, and so if you relate it to like our service center, what that did is it tells me it's a great church. Obviously, it's a great place to go. People did, but you got to get people in there, and you got to get them to where they walk in and they know exactly where they're sitting. Right. They know that they are welcome there. They feel good. It's not like this uneasy feeling of when you first meet somebody and you go, you know what, that service was great, but there was like, I don't know what to do. I felt like I was lost. Those people brought them in. We'll explain exactly what they do when you get there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really neat thing because, I mean, I think each, church that I've ever been to, they always have like a welcoming group, right? That's out there waving people into the church and, those types of things. But the thing that I really liked about this one is you pull into the parking lot. I mean, it's a massive church. And, I'll be honest with you, man, I've never really been a fan of a big church, but it's different. And, you pull into the parking lot and it has this big sign that says, if this is your first time here, please turn on your hazards. So you turn on your hazards, and it's it's kind of funny. You turn on your hazards, and it's like the alarm goes off for all these people. And you get people, oh man, welcome. Hey, glad to have you here. And then one of the guys will tell you, hey, new people get some special parking. So the gentleman up there, he'll get you into a good parking place. This place, that's one of the issues that this church does have, is some parking issues. I mean, there's so many people. Well over 1,000 cars per service. So
you gotta get there early if you want it. Yeah.
Yeah, but so they have special parking. So they have these barricaded parking spots off. But if you're a newbie, a first timer, they pull you right into this parking lot. And I mean, what a cool thing! You're right at the front door. You're kind of up front, and as soon as you get out of your car, you're having somebody greet you. And what they do is that person, they walk you to this table. They give you a little $10 gift card to the cafe that they have inside, and they walk you around and show you through the whole church and show you where service is going to be and different. We have children, so they showed us the children's center. So
it's cool.
And everywhere they went, they were introducing you as a new new possible member, and everybody was just doting on you. And what a good feeling, And then, like you had kind of prefaced the conversation with, the message was great, but they understand that, hey, you have tons of choices. We want to make you feel like this is a special place, that you're special here, and that you're welcomed here, and that you'll be seen and heard. And that's a good feeling.
It's funny that if you look at the way that they did that, I mean, it's very smart because it transfers into every type of business you can do, right? So let's say the church, you come in and they say, oh, hey, they greet you, send you over to where your parking spot is. You're up front. You feel already great. And like Noah said something, he goes, I parked, and all of a sudden I went, well, I don't know really where I'm going to go. And it's before he could even finish that sentence, somebody was at the door like, hey, man, come on, let's go. I want to take you in. I'll show you around. Right. Boom, took him to the next step, right? Then they walked you in, introduced everybody, gave him a $10 gift card, which was now that's how they get him to hopefully return. It gives an incentive, right?
Right.
And then also it's not just the return thing, but it's answered every question or every delay you might have had that would have caused you to not be able to listen and enjoy the message. Because now you're going in with an open heart, with an open ears and listening to what's going on. It's just like our service thing. If a guy walks in and is very friendly, talks them through everything, makes them feel like they're a part of the Redlands family, they are going to now trust you, number one. If you establish that, but also they're going to be able to listen and go, okay, I feel okay about this guy. Like, guy is giving me a good feeling from the beginning. I don't feel like I'm on the defense when I walk in there. Yeah. I think it's important for anybody in the service industry. That's key to getting your fixing your customer's problem and also making them feel comfortable about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, nobody wants to have somebody in their inner sanctum, which is their home, right?
Sure.
I mean,
it's always uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, whether the house is clean or not, doesn't matter, right? I mean, you still got somebody that you don't know. They might be having to go into bedrooms, into bathrooms, into your closet to get up into the attic. I mean, who knows, right? I mean, you go to sometimes every single room in this house when you're searching something down, and nobody. I mean, that's not comfortable for anybody.
Yeah.
So with that being said, how do we make that more comfortable, right? What are the small steps that we can take that can take that person from feeling uneasy to easy, right? And there's no fun day. We get that. We're not silly. We understand that. Nobody woke up this morning and said, hey, man, I really hope I have a plumbing issue today, or, man, I really hope I have an HVAC issue. But what we can do is make that bad situation better. And so that's really where our whole training process goes. I kind of want to, not to use the word correct you, but I really want to say something that I, as the trainer for the company, it's something that I'm very keen to is, listen, the word trust is so overused in today's sales world. I don't like that word. I don't ever want our customer to have to trust us, because I know that trust to me is something I hold so near and dear to my heart.
Doesn't come easy.
Trust is something for me like, hey, I trust you to watch my girls. Trust is something, hey, I trust you to teach my son to drive. Trust is, to me, is a big word.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that's really a word. Maybe after we've had 4 to 5 interactions, maybe that's a little bit different. But on a first interaction, we never think or can believe that we're going to earn that trust in that type of visit. So and the cool thing is the way that we want our customers to behave with us, and I'm going to use that word with us, is the fact that we want our customers to be involved in their call. We know that this is their house. There's going to be choices to be made. My technician's job is to identify the story that the house is telling us, along with the customer, because it's their home. That way, at the end of the day, when they do make a decision, whatever they choose to do, they've seen why they're making that decision. It's not a guessing game. It's not man, did I make the right decision, or should I have done this? Whatever decision that you're making, we've educated you to the pros and the cons, the whys, the why nots, the what or the what we could. All those different scenarios, hopefully we've been able to do. Only way we can do that is with customer involvement. And so I know a lot of times customers might feel like, man, I just kind of want to stay out of his way and let him do his thing. And I get that. I mean, I have no idea about a car motor, right? So there'd be no need in me hanging out around, but I really do want to know why is my car breaking down? Is it something I did? Was there a way that I could have prevented this? What can I do in the future? I want all those answers, and I know my customer deserves those same things.
For sure.
When there's something broken, I want my customer to understand the where, the what, the why, and the when. Why did this happen? What's happening? Why did it happen? Are other things, have they been affected by it? What can we do to protect for future? Those are all, because this is your biggest investment. Your home is your biggest investment. There's nothing that we spend more money on than our home. So how can we help that partnership? And again, there's even a secondary to this, which is, what do they want out of today's visit? Right? Like, again, going back to having a customer that's heard. I mean, sometimes, we've had a lot of customers, because of the incentives that are out there, because of maybe a commercial they've seen on TV or somebody that's visited their home, they might be thinking, hey, you know what? I've always wanted to go tankless. My water heater's done. Is this that moment that I'm going to make that transition? That's something that my guys have to interact with our customers to kind of figure out, what are they wanting? Are there any things that they've been thinking about wanting to do that we can actually take that moment? We're in a moment where we got to do some work. Why don't we take this moment to get them where they wanted to be?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's a huge thing, right?
Yeah, I think something that's, if you look at what really makes people feel valued, it's always the thing that is stepping outside of what you have to just do daily, right? So whether that's in your home or whether that's with your family or your work or, but if one of our guys, one of the things I think it's important is when they go outside of just getting the job done and they take something, whatever that may be, one comment or one extra service that we can do that wasn't expected that makes a customer feel valued. It's like if you're at home, one of the things you talk about with your wife or your kids, the things for me that make me feel valued are like when my wife does something for me that's not something she would have to do if I didn't live with her. Does that make sense?
No.
So like making dinner, I love when my wife cooks or whatever it is, but that's something you have to do, whether somebody lives with you, you're married or single or whatever it is, right? But when it's that extra step they go into outside of that kind of daily grind that makes you feel good. And I think that works with our customers.
Well, I'll use yesterday as a perfect example. My wife and I, we have Bible study in our house every Monday night. It's not as easy as it sounds to get a house ready every Monday night to accommodate between 20 to 30 people, depending on how many people show up. Sometimes only maybe 15. Yeah. But still, you got 15 to 30 people in your house, right? And so you got to...
Is your wife like mine where it's like you could walk in and go, house looks great. And she's like, this house is a mess.
Well, she's gotten a lot better with that as we've gotten older, and we want our house to be a livable house, not a...
Sure.
But and especially with kids coming into the house, we never want to make people feel uncomfortable. But
that's how it is in our house. I go, this looks great. We took. She's like, there's stuff everywhere. Yeah. Like, what are you talking about?
But yesterday I spent the afternoon helping my wife get the house ready. Now,
that's cool.
I went above and beyond what I normally do in my cleaning times, but again, it's not my wife's place. My wife works. It's just as much my mess as it is hers. And
it's the act of service, though, right?
But man, she was so appreciative at the end of the night last night. I said, "Oh, the house looks great." And she goes, "Yeah." She's like, "Man, that teamwork made the dream work."
That's cool.
It was just that taking that extra moment, and
for me, that stuff makes being able to do that. I love my wife enjoys that or is like excited about something I did, but it also feels good for me, right? Like Saturday, I went down and got her. She had a dance comp with her daughter on Sunday, so we all went. But I went out, got in the morning, first thing, again, got new tires on her car. Then took it down, detailed it, dude. Went to the car wash, went through the entire thing because, dude, 3 kids in there. It's always a mess. But then you do all these little things. You come back and it was like she was really appreciative, and it was cool.
I honestly wonder why my kids aren't even skinnier than they are. There's so much food on the floor of my car. I don't know how any of it hit their mouth.
That's what I said.
That's a whole nother conversation. I tell my kids, don't. My Jeep, and they're kids.
Yeah.
My littlest, we laugh because my littlest, when she's 9, but you can literally see where she's been since she's been home from school because there's a trail.
Yeah.
And it's like honey. And she's like, "Dad, I'm not that bad." I'm like,
"Yeah, you are.
Come on, let me show you. I can show you. Dad hasn't been home, but I'm going to tell you what you've done since you've been home, based off of the mess that you've made." So we laugh about that all the time. My oldest, she's a little bit better. It's funny how this isn't a good change, but it's a change. Things change over time. When she was a little kid, her room was always spotless. Mm-hmm. She was that kid that there was order, and she had to have order.
Yeah.
And so like her dolls would be lined up on the floor from like a height thing. Yeah. Her bed was always made. Her dresser was always organized, and I don't know what happened, but she got older, and now she is okay with chaos because.
That's your youngest?
No, my oldest.
Oh, your oldest.
My youngest is even worse, but my oldest used to be. It's just so weird. I used to think, oh man, she's a lot like my brother because my brother is very tidy, everything has its place.
Yeah.
I've never been that way. I'm, everybody that knows me, I'm a bull in a china closet. And I'm all over the place, and I've learned to deal with that. But I was excited that she was a more structured individual. Yeah. That changed, man.
That's my youngest. Kaylee is like a neat freak. She is exactly like probably what your daughter was. She went in when I was doing this on Saturday. I came back and she goes, "Come here." And I said, "What?" She walks me in her room. She goes, "Look." She's like, "Check it out." And everything was, and it's always like she doesn't let anything get out of place. If she does, it goes right back in. My boys, it's a different story, dude. My boys are like, we have 4 stools at our kitchen counter. It's like an island thing right there. And dude, I swear, I think he does it on purpose, but my middle kid I'll push the stools back in, right? And I feel 5 minutes later, I come back and they're all over the room, dude. And I'm like, why are you doing this? I don't understand. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, you did.
In their life, it's just another day.
That's what it is.
They do.
Yeah. Well, they know, mom and dad are going to probably push it back in and then complain about it and then move on. And
I tell my wife, we're our own worst enemies in that.
Yeah.
Right? We allow that type of stuff. So
absolutely.
We're just as much to blame as they are. But
so funny.
Going back to our customers, that's where we definitely try to partner. When I look at, there really is two types of customer. Although, I mean, we want them all treated the same. Mm-hmm. From a respect standpoint, we do have our VIP club members, and I definitely really talk to my technicians a lot about making sure that we serve those people. They've been members, they're paying for that membership. We want to make them feel like the VIPs that they are. I love that we have like the VIP phone number, right? Where even during our busiest time, they can call in and that ringer is going to the front of the list, right? Mm-hmm. And what a beautiful step with that, right? Because I mean, I know during the summertime, not just us, but all the AC companies around here get just hammered.
Yeah.
We can be 2 weeks out, right?
But that's the worst. If you know your AC's down and you call and you're thinking, you already know, you're like at least 3 days probably, but you get that answer.
But these guys are moving up.
Yeah, that's
right?
very
and
cool.
that's the beauty of it, right?
Yeah, that's the point, right?
We all want to feel prioritized. We all want to feel like we're on top of the list. And it kind of goes back to that talk we were having before. Like, really, what are we doing to make sure that not just our employees feel like they're working for a company that treats them like VIP, but then we're inlaying that all the way out to our customers. Mm-hmm. So I think it kind of flows downhill that way. If if we have an owner that believes in his management team and treats them with respect and dignity and all those things, that's going to then go from them and it's going to flow down to the employees in the office, the technicians in the field, and then if they're happy employees, they're going to take that same feeling out to the customer base. And I think a lot of companies don't really think of that flow all the way through. What you feed in is what you're going to get out.
Yeah.
And if you're feeding your guys with growth and respect and excellence, and you're really just kind of feeding that into your guys, and your guys know that that's something that means so much to you. They're gonna feed that back out.
Yeah, for sure. So we're talking about our VIP maintenance membership. Next week we're putting this out. So what this is going to be is a new postcard that's going to go out to customers that have had service within 1 to 7 days. So everybody who gets service is going to get one of these. That's basically a call to action to call us and schedule a VIP or to get their VIP maintenance membership set up.
Okay.
So you guys are going to be getting cards like this. Anybody does service with us, it doesn't matter what it is. That's going to come in the mail. All you got to do is call the number that's on here. That's going to be able to directly connect you with one of our CSRs and give you the opportunity to sign up for that VIP maintenance. Be kind of the opening step to get them on the road to a healthy system and making sure they're covered.
Yeah, it's huge. It can't be understated how important that maintenance plan is. It's so important that I would even say this. I mean, obviously we want to earn your business, but I'll take it as far as to say, whether it's us or even one of our competitors, a relationship with an HVAC provider who can come out and take care of your system and do a full maintenance. I think that's, and again, I will never talk bad about another company.
Sure.
I would never do that. But what I will say is look at, heck, you can even do it through ChatGPT now. See what should be included in a maintenance.
Can you tell me a rundown of essentially the main things that we do when we go out to do a maintenance?
I mean, I know that sounds like an easy question, but it's actually a difficult question because, it's different. If we're going out for a cooling maintenance, obviously we're going to, right now that's about what we're about to start, right? It's springtime, right? And so springtime maintenance is going to be getting the outside unit, which is your condenser. It's going to be getting the outside condenser ready for use, right? So we're going to be cleaning out the outside condenser, checking the compressor, making sure that it's breathing, making sure that all your components are within spec. And what that means is that, guys, it's really easy when I know a lot of customers are worried about, well, how am I going to know? Mm-hmm. And the good news is all the equipment that we're checking, it's literally has a rating plate right on it.
Yeah.
So the customer shouldn't feel like, well, how do I know or not? That means the technician really hasn't done a good job of showing them that, hey, look, right here on this piece of equipment, it says that this is a whatever. Let's say it's a capacitor, a 40 and a 5. So it's 40 MFD and or UF and 5, right, microfarads, right? So it's 40 micro, and it's going to test with, and it says plus or minus 6% or 7% depending on the capacitor. So that guy could check that. Same with the motor, right? The motor will tell you its load and what it should be amping out at. So guys, never worry about, how am I going to know? Trust me, I can promise you that all your equipment does have ratings. There's a data plate that will give you that, and if our technicians will gladly show you that. But they're going to be doing all that work on the outside, testing all those components. Then there's one more step that they should be taking inside, right, which is the blower assembly, making sure that the blower assembly is clean, pulling it, getting it clean. That's kind of the lungs of the system.
Okay.
And it's, in the HVAC, everything is all about airflow, right? If you have poor airflow, you have a poor performing system. You have a system that's going to soon break down. So we want to keep you in that really good airflow zone. So that's really what that whole maintenance is about. Then we have a plumbing maintenance where we're checking that water heater. Again, if you don't know what should be included on a water heater maintenance, look it up on Google. I mean, don't take anybody's word for it. I would tell you to do that. It's always going to tell you that you should be doing some cleaning to it. You should be doing some flushing to it. You should be checking the anode rod. There's multiple steps that should go into it. Checking the water pressure to the home, exercising the TMP, exercising the drain valve. There's multiple pieces that go into it. Those are all things that my guys do. But either way, whether it's plumbing or HVAC, everything in the home has a maintenance schedule.
Yeah.
And so that's what being that VIP membership is really making sure that you're doing your part, right? And that your part means that you're doing the things that the manufacturer says that you must do to keep your system in warranty. And that's where a lot of people don't realize. Listen, no company wants to give you a free system or give you free parts. So if we give them an out, they're probably going to take it. Of course, right? If you're giving Linux an out, Linux is going to say, hey, okay, so let me see your maintenance records. Oh, there are no maintenance records. They could easily deny that claim.
Yeah, technically, if you don't maintenance, you can get, the warranty can be void, right?
Same with your car. If you
it's the same thing.
Your oil and you're at 60,000 miles, you walk in there and you're expecting them to do something for you. Chances are you're going to be, leaving a little bit disappointed. We just never want our customers to be in that place, right? That's not what a partnership is about. A partnership is somebody really helping you get to that place to succeed. Now, with that, as you can see, our VIP members, as you guys get these flyers in the mail, you do get discounts, you do get services. These services just take everything else away from it, and let's just talk about 3 services. The price for our VIP membership, it way more than pays for itself if you were just to do individual maintenances.
Yeah.
Right? That would end up just costing you more. But on top of that, you're also getting VIP membership benefits such as accrual, you're getting discounts, you're getting priority service, priority phone. There's so many little things that go into
this. Mailer, too, I forgot to mention, that with this, we're giving the first month free. So it's our incentive to sign up pain-free,
Yeah.
First month free, it gets you to try it out. And
again, it's one of those things, guys, I will tell you, and I don't like ever sending somebody to one of my competitors, but I would tell you, if it's not us, it's got to be somebody.
Sure,
It's got to. It's that important.
Yeah, the important part is doing it.
Well, and here, I get a lot of old school guys that'll tell me, oh man, I had a system for 50 years. Well, back in the old days, these systems were literally, talk about on the furnace side, it was a blower, it was a flame, and it was the heat exchanger. That was it.
That was it, really.
Right now, these are computers. A lot of the newer systems, the more energy efficient we've become, the more California, especially California, and this is what a lot of people in the Inland Empire don't realize.
Yeah.
We are part of the CARB, California Air Resources Board.
Yeah.
We're inside that zone. So we have pieces of equipment that unfortunately only us, pieces of New York and South Bay in around San Francisco, we're the only ones in the country that have to live to these standards. It makes it very, very difficult because these are very, very highly efficient machines. But to get to that efficiency, they've become more technical.
Yeah.
And so that technical, unfortunately, has brought in more parts that without proper maintenance will die earlier.
Yeah.
And that's where you run into that problem where, back in the day, you could change a blower a filter out once every couple of months and that thing would last forever. It's not like that, unfortunately. And, and that leads to a recipe for disaster if a customer doesn't have a company they're partnering with.
Yeah, and more stuff to break. More
absolutely.
Things, electronics go wrong, it goes south for sure.
Yeah, and it's not stuff that, unfortunately, without a trained technician, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
And I hate that. It's kind of like, I kind of compare it to cars. Before cars were computerized, my dad could work on any old car, right? Carburetor and transmission. And,
it was very simple back then, yeah.
Then all of a sudden now you got to take out the computer control module, and my dad's like, I didn't touch it.
It's a little more complicated, that's for sure. We've got, with the heat coming up, we have, along with maintenances, we have a cool cash offer coming up too. So one thing to let everybody know is that we've got offers from Carrier, which have our Cool Cash program. You guys are going to be all the customers, and then we're going to be blanketing kind of Redlands, Yucaipa, and the surrounding cities with direct mail, email. But right now, you can take advantage of it right now. It's up to $1,700 off of your AC system through the Cool Cash program at Carrier.
Yeah, and that's huge.
Yeah, it's huge, and we handle it all for you. So if anybody's listening to this and they need a new system, they call us, ask us about that. If we come out and take a look and you decide to move forward on that thing, we can do all the process, all the steps to get that done, and you can save up to $1,700 right now.
That's
huge.
nothing to sneeze at.
No, it's big.
$1,700 is $1,700. Unfortunately, if you're in that place where there is no options anymore, your system's on its last leg. Let us help you with every discount that we can. Right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the best thing that we can do is get you into the right system for you at the cheapest cost.
Yeah, for sure. That's cool. So anything else going on, man?
I tell you, we're growing. We do have a couple of open positions. If you're
That's right. We are.
If you're looking for a job, we definitely have some positions on Indeed. I know we got some internal positions. They're probably on our website.
So we are hiring like the standard positions like service techs on, but we have like 3 management specific positions right now. So supervisors and install supervisor, things like that. It's weird. We're getting ready to run a campaign on that because trying to find somebody for those type of positions is difficult. We're having a hard time picking that up.
We could find somebody.
Well, finding the right person is the one, right?
Yeah. Going back to what makes us different in the first place is who we put on the team.
Yeah, true.
Right, and especially in a management role, somebody who's gonna, be able to control the environment of a certain department. That's even a bigger ask, right?
Yeah.
We want to make sure that we put the right person in there for to fill that seat.
Yeah.
So we definitely got that. So if you are looking and you're in the HVAC industry, give us a call here. We'd love to hear from you. 1-800-25-PLUMBER. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to see where your skill might match our needs, and we'd love to kind of marry those things up. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, look for us. We're gonna be at a lot of events coming up. It's like event season's here, dude. We did 4 already this month, and now it's it's on to the next. Next month's gonna be busy with.
What do we got next month?
We got
Redlands
Bicycle Classic, and then we have a. Oh God, forgive me. I can't. I have to look at my calendar. But we have like
the
3 or 4
the Bicycle Classic.
That's the big one.
That's a 2-day, both Saturday and Sunday.
We'll be setting up Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday's the show. Yeah, we're gonna be doing. They gave us the okay to start doing our giant plumber or a little plumber on the doors of all the porta potties. So I created this one of him standing up and look like he's taking a pee. I talked to them, but like City Yucaipa is working with us and all. They're letting us do all the porta potties and that too, so everybody will be able to see that whenever they go. It'd be kind of cool, dude.
That's perfect.
It's nice to see. We worked with Yucaipa. We had the girls in here from Yucaipa, and we worked with them a lot. I was looking at the numbers for just the last 30 days. Yucaipa's running second in our top revenues. How crazy is that?
And that wasn't Yucaipian myself.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and it's a great city.
it's cool to see that stuff kind of come to fruition.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I know. Norco has, what do they call that, Cowtown or whatever.
Yeah,
Norco. But I live up in the hills where there's a ton of people with horse people up there.
Yeah,
I love
very similar in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah, I was telling my wife this weekend we were out walking, and I love that when all of a sudden you'll hear, here comes some horses down the street. It's just what a good feeling, man. It just makes you feel like you're not in this big city. We live close to LA, and sometimes you don't want to feel like you're in that big city feel.
UKIP is the only one that I know that gives me that feeling around here. You know what I mean? It's nice, kind of little hidden gem in here.
It is. It really is. You're off the freeway, and I apologize, guys.
Dude, we're so
long night last night, man. I tell you.
I can't stop yawning to me too, man.
But hey, listen, give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to talk to you, whether it's the $1,700 off on the cool cash that you would like to talk about, whether you're somebody from the HVAC industry and you have some industry experience and you'd like to talk about a position. We'd love to hear from you. Or if you see us out at one of these events, especially Redlands Bicycle Classic gets a lot of traffic out there. We'd love to see you take some of the little swag that we have to offer. Even talking about any of those things that we just talked about, we can talk about them there. I know a lot of our management will be participating in the out there. I know I'll be out there. I'm sure Dan will be out there. So we'll have
a lot of staff
out there. So we're looking forward to you. And Mike, it was fun to hit another one with you, my friend.
Yeah, man. Next week we'll be back with Mike from North America Training Center. So stay tuned on that thing.
Technicians, stay tuned. Training opportunities.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Well, as usual, follow us on social media at Redlands and Henry Bush. Check out our Inside the Red Truck on Spotify.
1-800-25-PLUMBER.
25 Plumber, and it's at Spotify. Find us on there. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. Have a good one.